Alright, so today I just made this video to show you how to troubleshoot your lawnmower in spring when everyone pulls them out and goes to start them to cut their grass for the first time and it doesn't start. Lawnmower engines aren't too complex, and throughout high school I made my money by repairing lawnmowers I found on Craigslist. So today what I have here is a snapper mower with a 3.75 Sprint 2 Briggs engine on it, which is a pretty common engine found on a lot of newer mowers. And then also, this is also a Briggs engine, but it's a 6 horsepower engine. When you're buying residential, not too expensive lawnmowers, these are the most common ones you'll find. So when you go to start your lawnmower, these engines aren't too complex. All you need is air, spark, and gas, and it should work. So the first thing you should do, you want to start with the simplest things when you go to troubleshoot it. So you want to make sure that you put gas in it, that the oil's in it, and if you have a primer bulb like one of these or one of these, or if you have a choke lever, which some mowers do, make sure you primed it and choked it and try to start it one more time. If it has a bar like this one, the engine brake, make sure it's pulled back and try to start it. If you still have no luck, the next easiest thing to check is air. So you want to check the air filters. Now on these mowers, they're found right under this tank, which I already loosened up so it'd be easier to take off while recording. And they have a foam filter. This one was recently cleaned, as you can see, but if yours is real dirty and black, and I would recommend taking it out and cleaning it. Now how I go about cleaning foam filters is I normally get a milk carton. I get a milk carton and cut the bottom off of it like this. And what you do is you fill it up with some gas and you put the cleaner in it and soak it and squeeze it out, and then after it's nice and clean, you put some oil on the filter and work it through really good. That'll make it real sticky and collect a lot of dirt. Now on these mowers, they have a different air filter. Instead of being a foam filter, they have a paper filter, which looks like so. As you can see, this one's also recently been changed, but a lot of times these are really dirty. You can get these and you can beat them against the palm of your hand or against the wall to get the dirt out, but also blowing them through with the air compressor can do a good job of cleaning them out well. And those are not supposed to be reusable actually, like the foam ones, so you can also buy replacements at a Home Depot or Lowe's or your lawnmower dealership. So now, you check the air cleaner, it's nice and clean, still not starting. The next easiest thing to do is the spark part. Now I already undid the spark plug on this one. As you can see, to check for spark, you're gonna want to, connect the have the spark plug out with it connected up to the piece of metal behind it, and I think you'll be able to see the spark. Slowly pull through, and you should see a little blue arc hop in there. I don't know if it's visible through this video, but all it is a little blue. It's a little blue spark that hops between it. I don't think you're gonna see it, but up close in real life you would be able to see it. There's just a little tiny spark that goes across it, and if you have that, then that means it will run. So you put the spark plug back in. And one thing I forgot to mention about if there's no spark, you're going to need to get a new ignition for your lawnmower. And out of all the lawnmowers I worked on, this rarely happened. There's some models, such as some of the newer Lawn Boy 2-strokes, that are known to go out, but I haven't really had a problem with many mowers ignitions going out. But if that happens, it's not a hard to fix. You have to take a whole bunch of the covers off the lawnmower, and it's a piece that mounts in here that feeds this wire down to the spark plug that gives it spark. And when you're testing the spark, be sure the spark plug is touching something metal, and the head that the spark plug runs into is always a good thing you can put it up against. And now you retry to start it. Still no start. This is what most lawnmowers problems have, especially ones that sit, is there's a fuel problem. Now, the fuel and air are mixed in a carburetor where it goes into an engine, and each one of these has a different kind of carburetor. This one has a diaphragm carburetor, which you can see when I lift this cover off, like so. There's a carburetor. See it? Now how this one works is the gas isn't always sitting in it like a float bowl, but the gas is under it, and there's a piece of plastic that goes down in there to suck it up. Now in between the carburetor and the gas tank is this piece of rubber called the diaphragm. That's why it gets its name. And the diaphragm uses differences in pressure and air movement to suck gas up from the gas tank below it. And as you can see, here's where it all mixes. And if I don't know if there's gas in this thing, if I push the primer, now there's no gas in here. It hasn't been ran this spring yet. So when you press the primer, you would see gas shoot in there. But that's how that carburetor works. So for this one, if it's not working right, you have to normally replace that diaphragm, because that's about all that can go wrong with these mowers. Also, you want to check all these springs up here that you can't really, there's a lot of springs up here you're going to want to check. Make sure they're all intact and none are snapped, because they'll make it idle funny, possibly not start. And so if you do that and replace the diaphragm, it should run. I'll post a video later on how to fix a diaphragm on one of these carburetor types and undo it. Now on to the next type of carburetor. These run a float bulb carburetor, which you can see in there. There's the float bulb. And how these work is, let me take this cover off. The gas tank, you can see the gas line. The gas tank feeds gas into here. And then it goes into the float bulb where it sits. And this sitting in the float bulb is what caused the problem. Gas these days, with the ethanol in it, when it sits for a long time, the water separates out and it just becomes bad and really gunks up carburetors fast. And just sitting in that bowl, there's all these little passageways that gas goes through called jets. And when those jets clog, the gas can't get sucked up into the engine for it to run. So once you take that carburetor off and clean it out, the mower will run. And also, like I said with the diaphragm carburetor, I'm going to post a video on how to clean out that float bulb carburetor so you can avoid all the expensive dealership costs to get your mower running, when it's a really simple thing you can do yourself at home. I hope this video was informal and I hope you learned a lot, and just stay tuned for my next ones to learn a little more.